Hello, my loves, and welcome to the Fuck Trauma podcast with me, Candice Tamara. This is the podcast your inner child wishes you heard sooner, and my inner child feels so fulfilled sharing it with you, so that you can't change other people without changing yourself first, using the law of assumption and self-concept. So if you haven't listened to that one, I highly recommend you listen to that one first before we go into this one, as it will add so much more context, and this is like the deeper layer. But on that video, I got a comment that said, I really do believe that we can change people's energy and get the better version of people, but I don't believe we can change avoidance. That's their work to do. And the truth is, I get these kind of comments all the time. It's totally normal to have that perspective. I used to have that perspective too. But when I see them, it's like I answer them within myself. And then I don't actually tell you guys why I'm actually certain you can change avoidance with the law of assumption. And so I just decided to record this episode. So here it is, guys. Here it is. This is how I know you can change avoidance. So the first thing is to understand is that there is only one consciousness. Okay, we are conscious beings and we are souls with a body. We are not bodies with a soul. Our souls are here on this planet for our evolution. And don't worry, I'll get to the human level soon, but just bear with me because this helps to give it a lot more context. So we are conscious beings and we are creators. We can manifest anything we want because we are conscious beings. And there is only one consciousness. That is why we are all connected. And that is why thought transmission, which I spoke about in the episode around transforming your relationships with the law of assumption, is totally possible because we are one consciousness. Now, on top of that, we are also the operant power in our reality. It is just us. So yes, there are other people, but what we are experiencing in our reality is simply a reflection of our inner state, our inner assumptions, our inner story, our inner talk, our inner beliefs. And that is all reflecting out to us. This is the concept of law of assumption. And when you put this into practice, you will see, oh my God, this is the way the world works, right? So I know that this is hard to accept when you first learn this stuff because I was the same. So I know there is a lot of self-responsibility, but it's also the thing that completely freed me to change my reality and change everything I'd been experiencing, because everything I'd been experiencing was just a default from my past traumas and things I didn't want. And that is exactly what you're experiencing now. So this is why I'm sharing this with you, for you to realize that you have so much more power than you can ever imagine. And even though it can mean that sometimes you look at the past and you think, oh shit, I created that. I did that too. I had those moments too. But it was also like, well, you have one option where you could stay unconscious and you can continue creating that shit and bringing it into your future. Or you could see that you've created that and now change it with your future, because that is what I'm sharing with you, how to change it. So it's up to you which one you take, but I know which one I took, and the journey was so worth it. So we are souls with a body and we are one consciousness. Now, our souls know that we are souls with a body. Our souls know that we have the power to do anything, but as part of our soul's evolution, we have come to the world, to the 3D world, to evolve our souls. As humans, we have our own struggles. And what we do, we put up these circumstances that allow us to grow and to evolve our souls and what we are here to do on this planet and our purpose, right? Everyone has different stories and different struggles because it has been perfectly created for us to learn to overcome those things. So those triggers that you're experiencing are really just your opportunity to evolve those things. Those people that you're experiencing avoidance are just an opportunity to evolve. Now, as an anxious attachment style, what we experience and the beliefs that we carry around that, truthfully, this is just my perspective, but what I have grown to realize is that I actually think that our soul's evolution is one of the parts of that is to stop self-abandoning. Because if you look at everyone that has an anxious attachment style, it's always that we've been given circumstances in childhood generally where we have very difficult attachments. They create this self-abandonment within us, whether it's we become a fixer, we fix other people, we're the caretaker, we're the therapist, or we learn to people please. These become our human survival mechanism. Exactly what I speak about with my 6 chasing archetypes. If you've ever done any of my masterclasses, those are survival mechanisms that we learn due to our circumstances in childhood. And I believe truly that as part of our evolution as a soul is to break free from those survival mechanisms, really become our authentic self, start loving and accepting our authentic self, and being able to put ourselves first, to stop needing the external validation from other people, because that is the whole essence of anxious attachment style, is that we abandon ourselves to get it from someone else. But actually that is absolutely incorrect. Our soul's evolution and our evolutions as humans is realizing that we are the source. We are the most powerful ones, and we can give it to ourselves. Everything that you are looking for that avoidant to give to you, you actually are meant to give it to yourself. And that is the reflection. You're not giving it to yourself, so they are reflecting that back to you. And that is your evolution to be able to use that and change that. As anxious attachment style, we are empaths. We're the most loving, kind, incredible human beings to everyone else but ourselves. And that is not a coincidence. The journey that we are on is to start to become secure and loving within ourselves and realize how incredible and powerful we are. And I am here to help you with that. So that is just a little bit about consciousness and the soul. So let's bring it a little bit around to how that equates to avoidance. As I said, what the soul will do, what we will do is we will create circumstances that allow us to evolve and allow us to see that reflected back. Now, avoidants are a perfect example of that. As Neville Goddard says, the king of law of assumption, everybody is you pushed out. Okay. And what that means is you are experiencing your internal state through everyone else. How they are showing up for you is a reflection of your internal state. Now, as an anxious attachment style, we have learned self-abandonment, and this is called the Abandonment Mirror. I talk about it in my free masterclass, Becoming Secure You, and I talk about it in Stop Pulling Away masterclass too. So this is the abandonment mirror. This is my concept that I see it as. When you abandon yourself, it is reflected back to you as abandonment, and you will get avoidance back to you. Not avoidance, avoidance. So yes, avoidants are people that are showing up in your reality that keep avoiding you. And that is because at childhood, you would have learned beliefs like my needs don't matter, I'm not important, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I'm not chosen, right? So what happens is when you live for those beliefs, when you show up in your relationships, you will express a need, and what will happen is you've learned that people avoid you, people pull away when you have needs. And so what will happen is you will experience that in that other person. This is the avoidance that you keep experiencing, is that love is not safe for me, it always leaves me. So you're going to get people that always leave you, and that is why all your relationships are reflecting avoidance. That doesn't mean you probably have had other people in your reality or in your romantic relationships that maybe show up as more secure to you, but you will find that they're the ones you don't want, because avoidants are playing a role for you. They have a purpose for you to evolve through this, right? And there is a part of you that is comfortable holding on to the story of attracting avoidance. And I can change everyone else, but I can't change an avoidant, was exactly basically what the comment said, right? That sparked this episode. That is a story that you're telling yourself that keeps you safe right now, because it keeps them doing something to you rather than you realizing, actually, I am avoiding myself and they are reflecting that back to me, because that is all that's happening with avoidance. There is ultimate timelines. There's a timeline right now that you are in a most secure relationship. That vision that you have of your highest self, they actually exist. They exist right now in another timeline, right? And your job is to become them, that secure version of you. There is probably, even if you decide, there is a secure version of you that is in a relationship with that avoidant that you think is avoidant, but is actually secure in this timeline. That is also a reality for you too. So it's not crazy to think that you can have that, but it requires you to change first. It requires you to change your identity first, because there is no one to change but you. You are the operant power in your reality. So you have to change your concept of self, because right now you are showing up as somebody that has the beliefs of an anxious attachment style, and therefore your needs don't matter. Putting yourself first is selfish. You must put everyone else first. You are literally God of your reality. You are the creator of your reality. You are the most important person in your reality, and you are treating yourself as a peasant. You are treating yourself as you are absolutely below everybody else. And that is the anxious attachment style. Your soul's journey is to learn to rise and put yourself on a pedestal. And that doesn't mean it's ego-based. But how can everyone else be more important than you? You are literally the operant power of your reality. Your whole world revolves around you. You are in a movie and you are the main character of your movie, but you're actually putting yourself as the support act. You are not the support act. You are the main character of your movie. So now you need to start being the main character of your movie. And that is just your anxious attachment style that is doing that for you, because it has these really bloody disempowering beliefs that keeps you as this support act, putting everybody else on a pedestal and making them more important over you. You have to be the most important person to yourself, and everyone will reflect that. It is a mirror. Remember, it's the abandonment mirror. If you abandon you, they will abandon you too. That is why you keep getting avoidance. You keep abandoning yourself. You're not true to your needs. You shrink yourself. You please. You tell them okay, you're fine with no commitment. You give yourself so freaking freely. You overgive everything. You'll do everything to make them comfortable, everything to please them, everything to be loved and to be chosen. And there is nothing wrong with that. Believe me, I was exactly the same way. But you are loved and chosen. And when you realize that this is your self-concept playing out, and you get to shift your identity to somebody that is loved and chosen already, and deserves to be chosen, and deserves to be loved, and deserves to have their needs matter, you literally shift your identity. You shift your state. You shift into a whole other timeline of security when you change that. And when you change those beliefs and you change the story of yourself, you are now the person that only attracts consistent, emotionally steady, emotionally available partners. You are now that person that has the most healthiest relationship. You are secure. When you shift the story of yourself, and it is a bit of a journey, because you are literally unlearning all the other beliefs from the past that have been your identity up to this moment now. Like, they've been keeping you safe and in this story for now. So it does take a little bit of a journey, and this is why I always teach EFT is a really wonderful way. Nervous system regulation is a really wonderful way to do this, to shift your story without over triggering yourself and being really uncomfortable, because it can be, when you're shifting these, you're literally creating new paths within your body and your mind, and becoming someone completely different. So when you do your self-concept, when you change the story to, I am somebody that only attracts secure partners, and I am secure, for instance, and you reprogram all your beliefs around it, then avoidance cannot live in your reality, because you have now shifted to somebody that no longer attracts avoidance, that no longer experiences avoidance in their relationship. And this is why my Stop Attracting Avoidance masterclass is not about just attracting avoidance. It's even people in relationships and have avoidant patterns playing out, because it is only reflecting you. They are not avoidant. They are whatever you say they are, and they are just reflecting your own avoidance of yourself. So when you change that, when you stop avoiding yourself, they will show up better for you. They will literally show up as more secure, whole beings, because they are reflecting you. And if you start showing up as more secure, whole beings, then they will reflect that too. I promise you, that is how it works. Now, I know a lot of people think, I've done the work and I'm still attracting avoidance. If you are still attracting avoidance and experiencing avoidance in your relationship, then you haven't truly finished your evolution and your work, okay? There is still more beliefs playing out there. So you need to look at it and say, what do I believe about myself to be true? And you need to look at your behavior, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so that is the first thing. You have to change your self-concept, yourself of who you are. And when you do that, it will shift. The second thing is, you need to start telling a different story about the avoidant. You cannot be a secure person that only attracts secure people, and yet you keep telling the story of this person's avoidant, they're avoiding you, and you're telling everyone that will listen, my partner is an avoidant, I only attract avoidance. It's not a match, okay? You're literally wavering in between two identities right there. If you are somebody that only attracts secure partners, then you need to start telling the story that they are a secure partner. And remember, there is only one consciousness. You are the writer of your script. You are the writer of your movie. They have no choice but to reflect your change back to you. So if you start telling the story that they are secure, my needs are always honored, they always honor my needs and my boundaries and whatever it is, if you start telling that story, you will start to see them change. you will start to see them change, because you are the operant power of your reality, and what you say goes. It is that simple. I know it is the opposite of what you've been told. I get that. But I promise you, this is what happens. Just try it. Try it with somebody in your reality, in your experience. Start telling a different story about them, and you'll see that they will start to change very quickly. The difference is you have to change your self-concept too to be able to hold it. So even if you started to tell a different story now, that person's not avoidant, or, you know, they're secure. If you have not changed your concept of self to be somebody that is secure and only attracts secure partners, you might see them be secure for a minute, but you will default back to your old programming of anxious attachment style. I am anxious and I only attract avoidance. So you won't be able to hold that manifestation. You won't be able to hold that change, okay? So that is why it's very important that you change your self-concept first, along with the story of them. So you start telling a different story. I am a secure person. I only attract secure people. I only have secure people in my life, in my relationships. My partners rise to that level. And of course, my needs matter. And of course, they reflect that. And my partner is secure. That situationship is secure. That person you really like is secure. They show up as a secure person. And you keep telling that story, whatever that looks like for you, okay? This is just what I'm speaking off the top of my mind of the story, okay? But you change the story and you start telling it over and over again, no matter what you see, okay? Because it will take a moment for that to purge out. So at first you might see more avoidance, and that's okay. That is the old story purging out, but you just persist. You keep telling yourself the new story. And now you must not go to your friends and start telling them the old story, because with doing that, you are undoing your work, okay? You must keep telling the new story. And as much as you can, you try and change it in your mind. When it comes up, you change it to the new story. When people are right in front of you, or you're speaking to your friends, you try not to reiterate the old story, okay? If you keep reiterating the old story, you're going to get more of the old story, but you want the new story. So you have to give it a moment for it to start playing out, but you must persist. Neville Goddard says, persist until it hardens into fact. Now, personally, this is what I have found to be the most important thing. When I first started my journey of doing this, and because I was still learning this stuff, I didn't persist long enough. I would persist for a few weeks in something, and then I'd change to something else. So I decided it's not working, okay? That is the wrong thing to do. What you must do is you must decide and persist. I am a secure person with secure relationships. They are not avoidant. You must persist in that for however long you need to persist in that until it hardens into fact, no matter what you see. If that takes a month, then great. If it takes a week, great. If it takes 2 months or 3 months, you must stay persisting in that until it hardens into fact. That is the biggest thing I see with people, is that they don't do that. Within that, they are just going to default to their old identity, their old self-concept, and they're just going to get all their old manifestations, their old story back with them, okay? It is really normal. I did that like a million times before I understood this. So don't worry if you do that. But obviously, I'm here trying to help you not do that, so that you can change things quickly and experience all the wonderful things that you deserve. Okay, so you've changed your self-concept. You've changed the story of them. Now, the last part is you need to embody it, okay? If you keep saying, my needs matter, you need to bloody start showing yourself that your needs matter. You need to stop trying to fix them, please them, whatever you're doing. You need to stop self-abandoning in fear that they're going to leave you. This will also help when you do nervous system regulation, because right now your body is reacting to abandonment. So this is why I teach EFT tapping in all my programs and masterclasses, because it reprograms your subconscious beliefs and your nervous system at the same time. So when you have done that and you're neutral, you start showing up as that person. So the second they don't text you back, you don't start going into a panic. You show up as somebody that is always chosen. So you don't have to panic about that. You don't have to text them. You don't have to sit and watch them online. You just have to go into yourself and be like, no, I am a chosen person. Therefore, what would I do right now? I would stay focused on me, and I would trust that, of course, they'll text back, for instance. Or you are having a conversation with them and you are somebody now that your needs matter, okay? And people honor your needs. Now, you need to honor your own needs. First of all, you need to express your needs. And then when you do, and not in an anxious way, in a secure way, you don't need to over-explain. And then if they start to blame you, or they get upset, that is your time when you double down on your needs, because you're somebody that your needs are met and they always meet your needs. Okay, that's not your time to fawn and start to shrink yourself and be like, oh no, it's okay, don't worry, I'll compromise about my needs. No, you stand firm. My needs matter. I don't care that you're blaming me. I'm not taking responsibility. I'm not being blamed for this. I am not wrong for having these needs. You stay certain in yourself no matter what you're experiencing, and within that you are teaching yourself that it's safe to have needs, and you are teaching the universe that it is, and they will start to reflect that. Now, maybe not in that moment. They might not reflect it right in that moment because they're still reflecting the old story. But if you hold it, they will start to reflect that. They'll start to become more accountable, more responsible. They will stop avoiding you. You will get somebody that will you'll express your needs and they will honor them back, because that's who you've become now. If you are that secure person that has healthy relationships with emotionally available people, you need to show up as that version of you in your relationship and start expecting that. You start expecting that healthiness. You start expecting that they are going to respond in a secure way to you, not avoidant, or they're not going to pull away. You stop looking for signs that they're going to pull away because you're somebody that they don't pull away from. That is the difference. You start to embody that version of yourself. It becomes a lot easier to do that when you start to change your self-concept, because naturally when you do that, you will start to take aligned action. You will get the inspiration when you start to remove the fear that is attaching you to avoidance in your relationship. You will naturally start to take the aligned action of someone that does that. Now, that is why EFT is so freaking powerful for this, because it's training your mind and your body at the same time. And then it becomes easier. You start taking the action. Within a few weeks, you start to, like I said in my last episode, the lovely lady that DM'd me, you start to show up as that secure person that expects effort. You expect consistency. You expect secure partners. And when you do that, that's what gets reflected back to you. So you can change avoidance because they are only reflecting you. They are reflecting your avoidance of yourself. And when you stop avoiding yourself and you stop telling yourself the story of somebody that avoids themselves and experiences avoidance in their reality, you will change that. You will literally see them become more secure if there's avoidant in mind that you're trying to do that with, but you will start to attract more secure partners. Remember, you are the operant power of your reality. There is only one consciousness. You are the writer of your script. You are the main character of your reality. So start acting like the main character and you will get everything the main character does. Let's look at a rom-com. The main character, they're not acting like a main character and then they lose it. They lose the partner, they lose everything, their life falls to shit, right? That is the perfect example of exactly what happens here. And then they start to build their identity, they start to build their confidence within themselves, and then they get everything that comes with that. And that ex comes back in that rom-com and they come back as a better version of themselves. Before they were avoidant and non-committal, but because they shifted within themselves to be secure and confident in themselves and know what they want, they became so grounded in themselves and they became the main character of their film, their reality. Their ex came back to them as a better version, or the person they're in a relationship with suddenly does want to marry them, suddenly does want to commit to them. They stop avoiding them. They're the one that wants them now. Look at any rom-com because it is telling you exactly how this goes. But there is a messy part in the middle, okay? When you start shifting from that old version of yourself and the old version of that person or these people and to the new version, there's a messy part, right? They have a messy part in that rom-com. Everything falls to shit. That's okay. It is the bridge of incidents, as Neville would say. There is always a bridge that has to happen, and that bridge can look a little bit shitty. It doesn't look like what you want, but you continue on that bridge and you get to the other side. And when you get to the other side, you get everything that the other side gets. Look at any rom-com. That's exactly how it happens. It is no difference. It is just reflecting your self-concept and how the way works, the laws of the universe. So I hope that this has made sense. If it doesn't, if you have any questions, send me them and I will try and answer them for you. I know that this has been confronting, but like I said at the beginning, realizing this is confronting at first, but it is also really freeing, and you get to decide, do I want to bring my past into my future and keep writing the same story? And the fact that you are here and you are listening to this tells me that you are ready to stop creating this story and move to a different one. And well done you, because it's not easy. It's a lot easier to just stay asleep and keep blaming other people and blaming circumstances and letting the world happen to you. So well done for being here. Just keep trusting yourself. Your higher self has brought you here for a reason. You are ready for this evolution. Keep staying open to it. If you need any help on this journey, I have 2 masterclasses that would be perfect for this. Stop Attracting Avoidance masterclass and Stop Them Pulling Away. It embodies all of this, all my work does now. And it gives you the EFT tapping that helps to shift this fast and shift your identity and shift the story of them fast. And of course, keep listening here because I'm going to share so much more, as well as on YouTube. If this podcast is helping you, please, wherever you are, rate it on whatever platform, because it just really helps people to find this podcast and find this work and realize how fucking powerful they are, just like you are doing now. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you again on the next episode.